Hi and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. We've got the two tournaments running concurrently and we're getting down. Let's talk about the first one, Bud, from 20 down to 17. The boys got through at such a late stage.
And Paul, Everton should have gone through as well. They should have beat Crystal Palace on Monday, so the three guys that went out, I'd have felt hard done by.
Wow. So 17 left, and let's talk about them because they're in the scrum.
12
Sean Matthew, that is surname 3.
Yeah, Paul, well, as he said last week, go big or go home. In the new competition, he labelled Leeds again. So brave pick, but well done.
Yeah, Sean Singleton 2, the legend. I thought he'd go through.
Yeah.
Appy Fraser, Aaron Marino, is that his name?
Yeah, Aaron, Cape Townian.
Gavin Wright, Kevin Ross, my mate Des Ferree, Peter Barker, Sean Phillips, the reigning champ. They're still going.
Still going. They were all on Leeds, Paul.
Okay, right.
There were 3 on Man United that squeaked through, and
Hassan
2 on
Moore,
Aston
Graham
Villa.
Hawkins, Nigel Swinbank all went through on United. Tough game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Villa, they went through. They were losing. Rodney van Rensburg, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Bruce Armstrong, the lawyer. Okay, now the other one's interesting, Budge.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to talk too long on it. And neither of my mates, but the only one who went through from my group of guys is Stevie B.
Can you believe it? Paul, eventually I think he's read the script. Don't go with Chelsea and Tottenham. That's the rules.
Yeah, those are the rules. That's absolutely right. So, Budge, of that 250
yes,
of that are left, it came out of 562.
Yeah.
Wow, Chelsea 226, I think, 51 Tottenham, 26 Everton. Fulham, the mighty Fulham, 3. 2 Wolves, 1 Arsenal, Burnley, Leicester City and Newcastle. Gets tougher now.
Oh, Paul, it's the problem is, Paul, bar Man City, all the other teams are vulnerable.
Who's the barman called City? Barman City.
The Barman City, yeah. So they look good things again, but lunchtime kickoff and the second leg to come.
They're going to draw just now, or worse, lose, because they've got a few irons in the fire.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies that entered.
Yeah, Paul,
and
that's
more
interesting.
and more. More and more. We've got 14 coming this time. Okay, and then, they're all of them went through?
No.
No.
I think 3 went out, but the rest went through.
Did Renee stay in?
Yep, she doubled up, yeah.
She's normally very good. And who's the other lady who's always in?
Well, Raquel, shame. She went out. She was on Everton.
Okay.
Paul, what we've done, I was speaking to Full Georgia the other day, we're going to get a 1,000 Rand gift voucher from Soho. George was in Greece just for our leading lady. So, a lot of the money take 1 pick. So it's a little bit, not unfair, so a great thing for the ladies.
Tempting to put more in.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's a very good thing.
So Raquel won the last one, so I'll get hold of her. I'll wait because Renee and George were overseas.
And if any of them in
they win well, they double up.
Stevie B will do their accounting. He'll get their books right for them. All right. Right, here we go. You got now picks of the weekend. But explain this
Paul,
one to me.
There's always one team at a decent price, and it was Liverpool. They were 13-10 to beat Arsenal. There were 5 guys on Liverpool, so I thought they deserved a mention. Liverpool had Arsenal.
Graham Clark, I don't know him.
Ace, he's got a good mate of mine from yesteryear.
And I'm not going to run through Gary Free, 100% selection, just touching on a few names. Some of these guys I don't know. Sonny Bill du Toit is obviously from Hollywood.
Horse was named after him. He had
Toad favourites. I always like your Toad favourites. You seem to read it. It's early on to have a Toad favourite.
Paul, it's time, Paul. A good mate of ours, and so that Bafana's greatest. He was in charge. So it's time. Neil Tovey put his hand up and.
Well done to him. So he's going well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get over to our London studio. Stevie B, are you there?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Congratulations.
Yes, I heard a little rumour that I'd sort of squeaked into round 2 ahead of everybody else here from the UK.
All the heavyweights went, and then this little lightweight from Putney came through. Stevie, who did you pick?
I went with Leeds. I thought I'd keep Chelsea for another day, which is probably just as well.
Yeah.
Don't keep Chelsea at all. Okay, let's talk, Budge. You and Steve are running through these games now.
The Real Madrid-Liverpool.
Yeah.
Is that the game you watched, or did you watch the other game?
I had them both on. I was, I've got a sort of split, main screen and then my iPad. And I have to say, Jurgen Klopp said it all. They didn't deserve anything from the game, and it's true. They were very poor in the first half, I thought, and obviously a mistake that gave one of the goals away. But it was a very poor performance. I think the only saving grace is that they got an away goal, which gives them, still keeps the foot in the door. but they're going to have to play far better than that. And defensively, they've just got to find a way to tighten up.
Yeah, you know what's gone, Steve? You know, not being a Liverpool fan, is I backed them to beat Wolves, and when I watched the game, their legs have gone in midfield. Fabinho looks like he's carrying an injury. Thiago can't gallop, and Gigi Wijnaldum look like his legs are gone. That was their strength. They closed down and swarmed teams. They're miles away from teams at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he started with Jota, who's probably him and Salah are probably their two best forwards at the moment. Yeah. But there is, it just shows how, one or two key injuries have just completely, as you say, completely changed the dynamic of the whole team. And players who were, and obviously the press here picked a lot up on Trent Alexander, and he's having a difficult season. So, gone from hero to zero, not even in the last England squad.
Yeah. I believe Alexander, hell of a mistake.
Yeah. The problem is you got two...
And it's confidence. A lot of them were playing, I guess it was all of a sudden their confidence starts to go. And he's a young player, and he's under pressure. But it'd be great if they can come back. But, against a Real Madrid team that were without, their captain and
Varane and Ramos, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be tough for them.
Okay, Man City, I saw the last few minutes of that game. They squeaked through.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve to get through, but, it was a tight game, and I think they're definitely going to have to score over in Germany. And I think, the one thing Dortmund do is they threw players forward. Dortmund were very unlucky. They had I thought was a good goal.
The Bellingham goal, I saw the highlights. That's terrible.
How did Haaland play? How did Haaland play?
Haaland did okay. I mean, probably not his best game, but he's a handful. And again, once they, in Germany, they're going to throw everybody at City. I thought it was interesting with the tactics because he didn't play Sterling or Jesus or Aguero. So whether he brings, he has Sterling in the next leg. I thought that Bernardo Silva wasn't quite at it, but Foden is, is obviously seems to be the young man for the occasion. Yeah. So that game is in the balance. I think City do need to score, and if they play as they can on the break and attack teams, I think they've probably got a good chance. Yeah,
one game that's not in the balance is Chelsea Porto 2-0. I didn't see much of it. I saw the 2 goals, Steve. It looked one-way traffic, was it?
Yeah, I mean, the bits that I was sort of watching, but with the PSG Bayern Munich game so exciting, it was hard to sort of look at the other one. But, great result. I mean, especially after the way that they got taken apart by West Brom, to go to Porto, who have had a decent run in this competition. I think that Porto have got too much to do in the second leg. But, Chelsea, can't be too complacent. And again, I think they did it. I was surprised. I thought when I saw the team, I would thought, no, Werner and Havertz again.
So was there a bit of nepotism there, Steve?
Well, look, he obviously knows the players and he knows what they're capable of, and he's obviously giving them an extended run, or certainly Werner an extended run to get his confidence back. And at some point it will come good. But at the moment, I think if I was Tammy Abraham or Giroud, sitting on the bench thinking, why am I not playing when you're playing somebody ahead of me who doesn't score? Yeah. But, Chelsea get the West Brom game apart, I guess he's been justified.
Yeah. Steve, Bayern Munich, PSG, it's the best game I've seen in years. How did you see it?
Fantastic game. I mean, it could have been any number of goals. I mean, Bayern Munich, threw everybody forward the whole game, and they got caught out too many times, and defensively they were a shambles in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. But in the end, I mean, they could and should have had more goals. If it wasn't for the fact they had sort of Lewandowski out injured and Gnabry, they probably would have scored more. But fair play to PSG. They took their goals well and they defended very bravely. I think that players who have come under a bit of criticism, I think every PSG player, put his body on the line there last night, and it was a good performance. So that game is not over yet. There's a talk last night that Lewandowski might be fit. I think if he is, they definitely want to play him. But I think there's going to be more goals, and it's looking forward to it.
Yeah, Steve, Europa League tonight. Arsenal and Man United are involved. You see them both winning?
Well, I think Arsenal got a tough game, and as we know that Prague sort of knocked Leicester out. So
Rangers as well. Yeah.
So I think that Arsenal definitely want to get a result. They were poor at the weekend, Arsenal. So they need to find a little bit better form. I think if they can take a lead over to Prague, they'll go through. United should be comfortable. I think they'd be very disappointed if they didn't get a result over in Granada. Probably one of the weakest teams left in the competition. So, I think there's an opportunity there for United certainly to progress.
All right, Ajax Roma.
Yeah, good game. I think two of the best teams left in the competition. Roma are having a good season, but I fancy Ajax. You look at the players that they've sold in the last couple of years since their great run in the Champions League. Yet they're still producing good young. They have a fantastic academy and bring so many good players through. So I like watching them. I think. This will be a close game, but I fancy Ajax.
Yeah, okay. And Dynamo Zagreb, the team that knocked out Spurs. That's a dodgy game against Villarreal.
I like
Villarreal. To be honest, in the first game at Tottenham, they didn't show much at all, Zagreb, and you just thought, well, this will be comfortable, but they. So you don't know what you're going to get from them. Villarreal, you'd think, would probably be too strong. I mean, it's.
Unai Emery.
I think over legs, they probably
I like
will
Villarreal.
Unai Emery. So, they want to see Villarreal Arsenal, don't you? To see, the ex-manager against them. So, we'll see. I think that's going to be a close game. I don't think I'll be watching that one, though.
You'll be watching Fulham Wolves.
Fulham Wolves, Steve, Friday night, Redemption City.
Well, in all honesty, now we're at that stage that anything other than a win, and 3 wins minimum now, and I don't, because what happened on Sunday was, double disappointment. Newcastle played very well against Spurs, but you thought that Spurs' game management would hold it. And ours, for 75 minutes when we were 1-0 up, you just thought, this is it, hang on, and we just completely went to pieces in that last 15 minutes. So I think we've got to look to win. A point now, a point here or there won't be enough. So it's going to be a tight game. I thought Wolves, I know they lost, they were 3 down at home to West Ham, but actually for a lot of the game they played quite well. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a tough game. We have to find a way to win it, though.
Just keep accumulating points, Steve. You never know. One's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think it was, when you think on Sunday, obviously Newcastle got that last. Yeah,
that was more of a blow.
And we dropped 3 points from a winning position. It could have been so much different. So now the pressure is on us. There's no question. As we know, we play Newcastle last game of the season. We have to be within 3 points of them to go into that last game with half a chance. And it's, we've both got sort of fairly tough run-ins, so it's not done and dusted. And West Brom are going to think that they've got half a chance. They play Southampton at home, a win for them, and they put themselves, if we don't win, and they do, they're only 2 points behind. So, the way that West Brom played against Chelsea after the Chelsea had a player sent off, I think good fair play to them.
Steve, a team that's in great form, West Ham, hosting Leicester City, who I thought were terrible the other day. How do you see that going?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, Leicester seem to produce by far their best performances on the road. Yeah. I mean, if you look, this crazy season, when you look at their home record compared to their away record, it's on like 10 wins.
I think it's the best.
Defeat. At home, they hardly win at all. West Ham played really well in patches against Wolves. 3-0, you thought, right, had to do a lot of desperate defending.
Hanging on for dear life.
I think it'll be a close game. I think, but West Ham just, they haven't. At the moment, they are sitting there, as London's top club, and they haven't been in that position for about 35 years. So, they've got a great chance. I think if they win that, it starts to put pressure on Leicester as well. Yeah. At the moment, there are sort of about 5 teams vying for that 4th place. It's very exciting.
So, what do you call? How do you see that going, Steve?
I'm going for a draw. I'm going for a draw.
1-1. Okay, the big game for Paul and I this weekend is Tottenham Man United. How do you see that going?
Whichever team turns up.
Again, I think United have got obviously a trip. So depends how many of his. You think that Ollie would want to play a strong team. So Tottenham are obviously going to have the opportunity to have a rest. But I think there's going to be goals. In another league, fantasy league I did, I've got it down as a 2-2 draw. I just think there will be goals. I think United score goals away, and I just think, but defensively they concede. If you look at their performance against Brighton, shocking in the first half, but much better in the second. Yeah. I think, United are in a good position, sitting in second place. Tottenham can't afford to drop points, so I think this is a huge game.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a good game too, Steve.
Really, it's a big game,
good
and
game,
I think they can't. So
Sunday evening.
United got a great record away from home, but Tottenham can't afford to lose it. So again, I think it's going to be really close. I don't think there'll be much in it at all.
All right. You mentioned West Brom. They take on Southampton on Monday night. Who do you think? Because that's my best bet of the weekend.
West Brom.
They play against Chelsea. They really took advantage of Chelsea's situation, even though Chelsea had chances. But they caught them on the break. Yeah. Southampton needed that win. I mean, they were poor in the first 20 minutes or so against Burnley and deservedly 2 down. Yeah. But got what they probably needed, and that's probably enough for them. But I think this will be a close game. But I think Sam has got them fired up, and I think West Brom have got nothing to lose but to go for it. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if they edge that West Brom.
It's a good one. And then Brighton have got to turn around.
Everton.
Brighton.
Last but not least.
Brighton, they played really well in their previous home game. They played really well in the first half at Old Trafford. United obviously had to step up a gear in the second half. But I think, again, Everton are one of these teams. They're not winning at home, but they're much better away.
Yeah.
I think, Brighton obviously going to feel that they still need points, and I think they'll go for it. And again, I think it's going to be really close. You could call that either way. If Brighton play as they did in the first half, I think they could cause an upset.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I don't. Well, Brighton are favourites. They're 13 to 10.
Very interesting budget stats you've pulled out for the top 4 betting for the Premier League. Man United 1 to 50. Okay, so they haven't got Man City. Okay, Leicester City 4 to 10 because they fell last year at the hurdles. Liverpool could be turning around 9 to 10. Chelsea 9 to 10, West Ham 7 to 2, Tottenham 4 to 1, 25 to 1 Everton.
Yeah.
So all mathematically have a chance.
If Everton, also got a game in hand. If Everton had won the other night and won their other game in hand, they'd be up there themselves. Yeah. So they obviously just feel Everton are just too inconsistent. But you can't rule them out. They should have won the other night.
Yeah, agree.
Okay.
Steve, on to the Championship. Obviously, that's hotting up. Barnsley-Middlesbrough, how do you see that going?
Yeah, I fancy Barnsley. I watched their game against Reading, and although Reading missed a sitter, Barnsley had enough chances to have won that game. Yeah. And Middlesbrough, as we know, are very inconsistent away from home. Lost last week at Bournemouth. I'm going to go for Barnsley in that one.
Okay. Cardiff City, Blackburn?
Yeah, well, again, Cardiff
have to win.
They were going to have a run, and they've sort of fallen away.
Yeah, they've fallen away badly.
Blackburn, again, you're not sure what you're going to get. I think that's going to be a very close game. I think both teams are probably just a little bit adrift at the moment now.
Yeah.
But I think Cardiff. I can't see Blackburn winning at Cardiff though.
Yeah, I watched Cardiff against Notts Forest. They had like half an hour spell where they should have got on top, missed. Then he made a couple of strange choices, or changes, should I say. Really disappointed with Cardiff. Derby County Norwich, that should be a good one.
Are Derby close to relegation zone? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Derby are sort of flirting near the bottom, but I think they've got enough. Yeah. Norwich have just, although dropped points before, had a tremendous win the other night. Yeah, I mean, huge result. And actually, they don't need many points now for promotion.
I think it's 4 points from 6 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So they could have this wrapped up in the next 2 games. Yeah. And I wouldn't be at all surprised they go there. I don't think they'll lose to Derby. Derby could hold them. But but I think Norwich avoid defeat. They definitely got more than 1 foot in the Premier League again.
All right, now your second favourite team, Brentford, travelled to my boys at Deepdale.
They won the other day. Preston.
Preston won. Yeah, we beat Swansea away.
Preston Preston. You can't. It's hard to bet against Preston sometimes away, isn't it? But I think that Brentford have dropped far too many points. They find themselves 9 points behind Watford with only 1 game in hand, and I think. They're starting to run out of games, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if Preston could hold Brentford, but I can't see them beating them. So I think it's either a draw or an away win there. Yeah,
I saw the last 20 minutes of the Huddersfield game with Brentford. They just couldn't score. I backed them in midweek to get a result against Birmingham. They drew 0-0. Yeah. I don't know what's happened to Ivan Toney, but they're not scoring many goals, Steve. So hopefully my boys have got a chance, but I don't see Brentford losing. I agree with you. And last but not least, QPR Sheffield Wednesday turning it around.
Yeah, I think so. I think they.
Who's in charge there?
Darren Moore.
I mean, they had their 6 points deducted, but they had a really good win during the week. Very comfortable 5-0. I fancy a bit of a slight surprise there. I fancy them going there and getting a result. They've got some big name players, Sheffield Wednesday, and I think they're just starting. They put a little run together. I think they could get out of it.
All right. Steve, last week you're on fire with Bournemouth. What's your call this weekend? Your best and your best value bet, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the same team again. I'm going to go for Barnsley.
Barnsley Butchers,
Barnsley,
okay.
They're looking to try and cement that top 6 place.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're quite good enough to go up, but I think that
they should be in the playoffs.
With limited resources, and the way they threw everything at Reading, and were very unlucky not to win. So I fancy
Barnsley. Okay, and your value bet?
I'm value bet. I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought so.
They're just starting to find a little bit of form, and I think that they do need to go and look to get to win. They are still a few points adrift, but I think they're capable of getting out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, just to let you know, my best bet is Southampton, and Everton are my value bet. I can't believe Everton are 23-10. That's crazy. They shouldn't be. I think they should be joint favourites with Brighton. But anyway, I fancy Southampton. I think they'll beat West Brom. I think that's a flash in the pan.
Obviously, if Southampton do win that, then that's pretty much them safe.
Yeah.
And that would pretty much, put the nail in the coffin for West Brom. Because I think they would then probably start to run out of games. So, there's a lot riding on it. I mean, there is still, thankfully, that sort of near the top and at the bottom in all the leagues. I think it's still exciting, and it's not done apart from City and maybe Norwich. Nothing else is done and dusted.
No, that's true.
Stevie, just before you go, you're a cricketing man. You love going out to Lords and sipping the cocktails. I know you're type. You watch for cricket. I read a book. James Goodman gave me a book to read by a journalist called Ed Hawkins, who wrote something bookie. I'm trying to think of the title. Bookie, bookmaker, punter, spy. Have you ever read it?
No, I haven't.
Outstanding. It's about fixing of games. And that type of stuff, cricket, all going back to Hansie Cronje's days, going back to the county leagues and that.
Well, interesting, because I was at Lords the day, and when
Pakistan no ball.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time, in fact, at the time when it happened, people, around me, we just thought, oh, it's a no ball. You didn't think anything of it. You just wouldn't have assumed that he was doing it deliberately. And then obviously it got sort of picked up and they looked at it afterwards. But at the time, it just looked like he was bowling a couple of bad, 2 or 3 bad balls.
Steve, do you know what's interesting? I know we've got to move on here, but in this book, the News of the World got a guy to play a fake shake. And they went and they said, we want you to bowl 3 no balls, Asif or Alif or whatever these guys' names were. Then they took it to the cricketing boards, and these 3 guys got time for doing it. They were supposed to have been paid for it, and it was a big bookmakers move and that. And Ed Hawkins proves categorically, he's been right around India, Pakistan, there's no bookmakers who lay your bet on no ball. Do you think that's stupid?
Yeah.
You
say to him, 3rd over, no 3, no ball. The bookmaker says, are you crazy? Yeah. He said there was no money laid in it. It was a complete entrapment. He said these guys got kicked out of the game because they got entrapped by the News of the World, and they made this hoo-ha, and they made a big case of it. He said it's the biggest sort of robbery that these guys got that time, because there's nowhere in the world a bookmaker will lay you a bet on a no ball. Nowhere. Yeah. Do you think that's stupid?
No. Was it Mohammed Amir? Was he the youngster?
Mohammed Amir, it's strange to think I was actually there. You talk about the fake shake, but there are other, I think the same thing. And if you remember, Lawrence Delalio was involved. And
Yes.
Trying to entrap him into something.
Yeah, it's all entrapment.
Yeah.
Well, Stevie, as always, wonderful talking to you. I knew you'd know the cricket, but if you get a chance, Ed Hawkins wrote it.
I'll look.
It's a fantastic book.
Steve,
thank you. I should put my thinking cap on for my...
for the last one standing, Steve.
Jeez, I can't assist you. Everything of the best, Steve. Thanks very much.
Cheers, bye.
Cheers, Steve.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
Right, Budge, let's go. Here we go. Premier fixtures now. I know the last one standing, there's 2 gangs left that are going for it. I want your input on these games. Fulham Wolves, did anyone take them?
No one will be on them, Paul. Yeah, obviously it is included.
Who win? I think Fulham won't lose.
Paul, I just get worried, Wolves are a funny team, and Fulham don't score goals at home. That's my concern
correct.
with Fulham.
Well,
I'm thanking for Steve and obviously for the Fulham supporters, but Paul, I
So
just
you got
don't
an
see
open
it.
mind, eh?
Win and draw Wolves for me, but I'm obviously my heart's with Fulham.
Well, Man City, that much better. They should beat Leeds.
Well, the thing is with Leeds is they just play from the back. They're cavalier, and City will win the ball off them. I think this should be a humdinger, Paul.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game.
Should be a good game. Leeds will score. I saw 7 to 10 Leeds to score.
It just shows Man City winning the Champions League match without using three top strikers.
I think he
shows their depth.
Well, he's just worried about getting caught on the break. Paul, if they'd have played Bayern Munich last night at PSG, they wouldn't have won.
Is that right?
Oh, no,
so you still can't see Man City winning the Champions League?
No, I just don't think they've got a centre forward.
Well, the injuries and all that. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Aston Villa.
Paul, if you look at the form, Liverpool have lost 6 in a row at home. They drew 2 prior to that, but I watched Aston Villa and Fulham threw it away.
When is Jack back?
Well, I don't think he's going to be back this weekend, according to reports.
Okay.
Paul, Liverpool have got to win this game, because I think if they get stuck out the Champions League, they've got to get in top 4.
Yeah,
this is a game they've got to win. I think they'll win, Paul.
They're 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay, Crystal Palace always seem to eke out results.
Well,
but
they've only lost 1 of the last 6, and that was to Spurs. Remember,
Well, obviously
Benteke
they're very
scores
good
that
side,
good
yeah.
header. Paul, I'm not sold on Chelsea, but it's a tight game.
I wouldn't take 5 to 10 in
No
the derby.
chance. Paul, I saw even money, both teams to score, so that's my bet in that game.
Zaha playing.
They'll all play, Paul. All playing for moves, I think.
Okay, Burnley, they were touched off 3-2 after
Yeah.
leading. They must be really miffed about it. Newcastle played very well against Spurs.
Yeah.
This is a clash that could determine
Either way, yeah.
How do you read it?
Paul, Burnley have drawn the last 5 at home.
Cool.
Yeah, they drew with Arsenal, but they've drawn with some lesser teams too. I hope for Steve Bruce he stays up because I like him, but obviously of the 2 teams, I prefer Fulham.
You know it's not popular. I've spoken to a lot of people and said, it'll be nice to say. I said, no, not for that prick, excuse my French, who owns the club.
Yeah, Mark
He's not
Ashley.
popular.
No, he's not popular. But for Steve Bruce, Paul, I think they can get something here.
Okay.
I think they can get a point here.
Okay,
Burnley, I fancied them last week, 2-0 up. They got robbed with a penalty.
21
It was
to
a
10, yeah.
So draws would be my suggestion there.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, West Ham, I think good game.
Should be a cracker, Paul. I
They
think
both
Brendan
can't afford to
Rodgers
lose.
gets too much credit for his tactical acumen. I thought he was disgraceful against Man City. He got out of jail against. He was tactically rubbish against Liverpool, but the goalkeeper sold 2 down the river.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for David Moyes and West Ham, but my concern is Mikel Antonio went off on Monday. And there's Declan Rice could still be out.
He's out for a month.
Is he out for a month? So they've got to pull. I think 24 to 10 a draws got nailed on for me in that game. I'm hoping for West Ham, but
I
a draw's a
think
player.
Tottenham United draw myself.
Could be. Well,
5 to 2. Spurs have got to throw everything at this. Man United have a midweek game, but they're both very hot and cold. But
just too inconsistent.
Yes, that's it.
Spurs have the goal scorers. That's the difference.
That's it. 3 very good strikers. That's it.
If the 2, I like Spurs of the 2, but as United, man, as long as we don't get beat.
Yeah, I told you.
We haven't lost in 22 away games, Paul.
That's
United.
Excellent. And
Hopefully
people still ever go at the
continues.
boss, eh?
Paul.
It's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
Sheffield, untied, and Arsenal.
Paul, if ever there's an upset of the weekend, I think this is it. For the simple reason, Arsenal were disgraceful last week against Liverpool. Everything, all the eggs are in the Europa League basket. Yeah, they can't. If they win it, they go to the Champions League.
But their B team's got to be as good as Sheffield.
Well, Paul, last week Sheffield United nearly upset Leeds. I know it was a local derby. I can't have Arsenal, Paul. You talk about taking 6 to 10, 5 to 10 Chelsea. I would never pass Arsenal by. That could be the upset.
Albion, Southampton.
Well, I fancy Southampton. I was really impressed with 2-0 down.
Danny Ings back.
Danny Ings back. The other youngster, that boy up front too, he's a good player.
The boy they brought out of Scotland is a good player.
Yeah. Stuart Armstrong. It's a great song the Celtic fans sing about him. Brilliant.
Armstrong.
Stuart Armstrong,
Stuart Armstrong, very good player.
But I fancy Southampton.
Okay,
Paul, 13 to 10.
You like Everton, obviously. I've seen that. Brighton have played too well.
Paul, they did. That's their problem. They just play too well. They don't score goals.
Yeah.
Everton should have scored 4 or 5 against Palace, but they were playing like they were in dreamland. Yeah, they've got to get
United on the rack at one stage.
They've got. They score goals. I think they'll score a couple here.
Yeah, both teams
Everton for me.
Okay, right, let's go Championship. It's really hot enough now. Watford have to stay in the second
position. They've won the last 6 at home. I think 9 out of 10. Only QPR.
And Reading in a fight, tooth and nail.
Yeah. Paul, I watched Reading Barnsley. It's a terrible pitch, but the guy missed the sitter of the season.
I heard so.
Oh, jeez. Right, okay, I know Barn was a very good game on a bad pitch.
Yes.
That's Quinton Fortune's team, but they drew the other day.
What is the assistant manager?
John O'Shea's there. John O'Shea's at Reading as well, the Man United guy.
Is he playing?
No, he's on the bench.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they've come right, Paul. I like Watford, the two teams.
Yeah,
You know, teams
yeah.
get a roll. They're on a roll.
They've got
8 to 10.
Is Troy Deeney still about?
He's on the bench, Paul. That Ishmael Sarr, he's the main man now, the young
He's
guy.
a top player.
So they're coming back, Paul.
Okay, Millwall, Swansea.
Well, I like Millwall. You know, I watched Swansea. I watched them twice. They were terrible. And Preston beat them 1-0 in Swansea on Monday.
Yeah.
I think 18 to 10, Millwall's a good bet, Paul. They don't get beat at the Den. Millwall for me.
Bournemouth,
Yeah, I think Bournemouth's a team you've got to back every week.
they're in
Paul.
7th, but
They're in 7th. Yeah, Coventry got a result on Monday at home, but Bournemouth, Paul, you know, you get those teams with a lot of experienced players, premiership players. It's now or never for them. 6 to 10, I think, is the best bet of the weekend.
the next game we're talking about is Barnsley-Middlesbrough, but just to touch on something, Bournemouth win their game in hand.
Yeah.
They tie with Barnsley in 5th.
Yeah.
So it's very tight.
No, it's tight there, Paul. Yeah, they've got a lot of experience in that Bournemouth team. Barnsley have done great. He'll be manager of the year, the Israeli. Took them from nowhere.
Yeah.
They've done great, but the last 4 games at home, they've only won 1.
Okay,
But,
that
Neil
doesn't-
Warnock at Middlesbrough, they've lost their last 3. A draw in Barnsley for me there, Paul.
All right, what's up next? Nkunu?
Birmingham Stoke. Paul, this has got 0-0 written all over it. You know, Stoke don't give many. They don't get beat too often away from, or they don't win many, Stoke. 2-1's my play there, Paul.
Okay.
Boyer's done well with Birmingham. They drew at Brentford on on Tuesday. So a tight game. He's trying to get them out the relegation zone, and he'll take a point. I think that's got draw written all over
This,
it.
how are these odds? 22 to 10 Bristol, draw 22 to 10, not Forest 14.
Well, I fancy Forest. You know, I watched them win at Cardiff, and they were impressive. They won at home in midweek. Bristol City lost the last 7 at home.
How does that happen?
You know,
And
Nigel,
the boss kept his job.
Yeah, you know, he's just taken over though. He's the guy, Pearson, the guy that got Leicester promoted.
Didn't he have a stint at Watford?
Yes, he was the guy. Remember when they got relegated,
Yeah.
they fired him with 6 games to go.
Go,
They never won a
yeah.
game. Crazy. Paul, I've got to go with Forest. Bristol City. How can you not get a point in the last 7? So 14 to 10, Forest is in our bets.
And Cardiff have struggled. They're in 8th now, but
Paul, you know, just watching them. They're a panel beater side, Paul.
I can't see them making top 6.
No, they've got no chance. Had a few random getting promotion at a crazy price when they were going well. But Blackburn, Paul, they've also fallen off the bus. I think they've won one of the last 14. If there has to be a result, it should be Cardiff, but the draw's a player.
Derby, Norwich.
Paul, you know, Derby don't get beat too often at home. Baseball ground, I forgot the new name of it.
You know,
now.
the baseball ground.
Baseball
yeah.
ground, yeah. Paul, but Norwich need 4 points from the last 6, so they'll keep it tight. Rooney will take a point.
No,
I don't
4
see
points
Norwich
in the last
losing.
6 games.
That's to go get automatic promotion, Norwich. They need 4 points.
That's all, eh?
That's all. So they get a point, they'd be happy, winning next week
Okay.
at home. But a draw in Norwich for me there, Paul.
All right, how about Huddersfield, Rotherham?
Paul, I watched Rotherham lose 3-0 at home to Wickham. It was on ESPN the other day. How they lost, I'll never know.
Can
They had
play
chance after chance. Wickham, I've never seen a team panel beat this bad. Every time they got the ball, they blasted into the other team's half. They scored 2 from a set. I just couldn't believe how they won. This is a hard game because Huddersfield lost 7-0 to Norwich on Tuesday.
They
But
got a bounce
Huddersfield at home, Paul, that could go either way.
Okay.
Huddersfield in a draw, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rotherham upset them.
Budge, I know you're a Preston man, but if you weren't, would you take even money Brentford?
Paul, I think they've scored 1 goal in the last 4 games. It's just that Deepdale, Preston's home ground is a great pitch. And Brentford can play, Paul.
Yeah.
The pressures are, they slowly, but they've got to get a result.
Yeah.
But Preston get a point, be a great result. But Brentford in the draw for me there in the exotics, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, QPR chef.
Yeah, QPR have gone well. Charlie Austin could face disciplinary. He stomped on a guy I saw this morning. Sheffield Wednesday under Darren Moore. They were unlucky when they lost 1-0 at Watford. They had a great result in midweek. They beat somebody 5-0. They beat Cardiff 5-0. That can go any way, Paul.
Okay, and Wickham Luton?
Paul, you know, Wickham, I saw them beat Preston at home. They beat Blackburn at home. They won last week. They tailed off, Paul, but they've won 3 of the last 5. I can't have Luton. The draw would be my suggestion.
All right,
there,
but
Paul.
let's go local. The PSL, there were a couple of games during the week. TTM were beaten
Yeah, I
by
watched
Sundowns.
it, Paul. It was the good thing about the 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock kickoffs. You can watch it. They played well. They scored first. But Sundowns a class team, Paul. They ended up winning 3-1. But they did play well, TTM.
And then Kaiser Chiefs 2-2 Stellenbosch.
Well, I only saw the highlights. You know, Gavin's going berserk with his back 4.
Yeah, he
Can't keep a clean
he
sheet.
can buy soon.
Well, let's hope he can, yeah.
Right, so I've got the PSL standings, but let's go to the games, bud. Stellenbosch.
Paul Benny's done a
Amazulu.
great job. They won 7 of the last 8. They drew the other one. I think 11 at 10. Amazulu's a good bet against Stellenbosch. Steve Barker's team.
Yeah.
They're hard working. They drew with Chiefs, but they'll concede. And I like Amazulu, Paul.
Cape Town City Supersport.
Well, it all depends if Grobler comes back for Supersport. Apparently he had an ankle injury. But I haven't really liked much of them this week. Dean Furman's gone. I think he was the brains that kept them together. Cape Town City have been disappointed lately, Paul. Both teams to score, I saw even money. That would be my suggestion, but they draw a big player in the game.
TS Galaxy, TTM.
Yeah, Paul, I like them, you know. They got beat, lady referee, the other against Bloemfontein.
How was she?
Yeah, she did okay. Yeah, the penalty she gave, I thought was a bit harsh, but, you know, you've got to make the big decision.
You've got to make the call.
Yeah, she made the call. You know, TS Galaxy, the old Highlands Power, Highlands Park team, Owen de Gama. I wouldn't take 8 to 10, Paul, but I do think they're the better team, and if someone's going to win it, it'll be TS Galaxy.
Okay, Doug, but just go Arrows.
Yeah, I like Arrows, Paul. They're second, they're flying, and Bloemfontein Celtic, I think they've lost 7 of the last 10 away from home.
Ooh.
Should be Golden Arrows all day, Paul.
Swallows, the draw merchants.
Paul, you know, both teams, the last 11 games, Swallows have won 1, drawn 9 and lost 1. Black Leopards have won 1, drawn 1 and lost 9.
Oof.
Paul, it should be Swallows, but how can you back a team that's drawn 9 of the last 11? So you'd have to go Swallows in the draw and your exotics.
Can you take 5 to 10 Sundowns?
Yeah, Paul, I'd see what the -1 handicap is. The only problem is they play in the CAF Champions League on, I think it's on Saturday. So quick turnaround, but they're a top team, Paul.
Relegation-wise, Black Leopards looks bad.
Yeah, they don't look too good for them, Paul. They've got to get a few results.
Okay, but let's look at your soccer bets then.
Yeah, Paul,
Give me
this
your
is a
thoughts.
Gold Circle one. Yeah. I'm banking Man City to beat Leeds United. I've gone the field in the Millwall Swansea City game. I think Liverpool will beat Aston Villa. I don't see Norwich City losing at Derby County. I'm looking for the upset with Preston North End and Brentford. And I've thrown the draw in with Chelsea at Crystal Palace 2-1-6.
Okay.
Pumalela one, I've gone Cape Town City win and draw against Supersport United. I'm banking Liverpool to beat Aston Villa. I don't see TS Galaxy losing at home to Shakuma Matsi. I don't see Chelsea as well losing at Crystal Palace. Kaiser Chiefs have got to win to get to the next stage of the CAF Champions League, but I don't see them winning against Soroya. And the big game of the weekend, the El Clasico, Real Madrid-Barcelona. I've liked what I've seen of Barcelona lately, Paul, so a draw in Barcelona for me there, 192.
Okay.
On to the Gold Circle, Soccer 10, I'm banking Man City to beat Leeds. I'm going Millwall win and draw against Swansea City. I'm banking Bayern Munich to beat Union Berlin. Liverpool to beat Aston Villa. I'm going Norwich City win and draw at Derby County. The second page, again, I'm looking for the upset, Preston North End Brentford. I think Paris Saint-Germain will be too good for Strasbourg. I'm throwing the draw in with AC Milan at Parma. I'm going Chelsea win and draw at Crystal Palace. And I'm going the field, Real Madrid, Barcelona 288. On to the 13, I'm banking Liverpool to beat Aston Villa. Chelsea to beat Crystal Palace. I'm going Barnsley win and draw at home against Middlesbrough. I'm siding with Stoke City to avoid defeat against Birmingham City. I'm banking Notts Forest to beat Bristol City. Cardiff to win against Blackburn Rovers. I'm going Brentford win and draw at Preston North End. On to the second page, I'm going Huddersfield Town win and draw at home against Rotherham United. I'm banking Norwich City to win at Derby County. I think Bournemouth will be too good for Coventry City. I'm going Queen's Park Rangers win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. Luton Town win or draw at Wickham. And the Swedish Superetta, the Allsvenskan that starts this week, I'm going IFK Gothenburg win and draw at Örebro 256. A lot of draws, I think, this weekend, Paul.
Yeah, Budgie's best bets. Tell me your thinking the Premiership.
Yeah, on to the Premiership quad. I'm going Liverpool to beat Aston Villa. I'm going Southampton to beat West Brom. I'm going over 3.5 goals in the Man City Leeds United game. And I'm going Everton to win or draw on Monday night against Brighton. 11-1, 2,200 to 200. Our Championship treble, I'm going Millwall to beat Swansea. Notts Forest to win at Bristol City. And I'm going Bournemouth to beat Coventry City and over 1.5 goals, 2,300 to 200. Our team goals only, Paul. I'm going Crystal Palace and Leeds United to score against Chelsea and Man City.
Tough calls, but
yeah, I think they'll score, Paul. Yeah, and I'm going Everton and Southampton to score over 1.5 goals on Monday night. Everton against Brighton and West Brom, Southampton. Both teams to score sides are Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Burnley, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United, and Sheffield United, I think, will score against Arsenal, 2,700 to 200. PSL bet, I'm going, the KZN sides are going Amazulu to beat Stellenbosch, Golden Arrows to beat Bloem Celtic, and both teams to score. And the Cape Town City Supersport United and TS Galaxy TTM 2,700 to 200. And our Collis King 6 on Nexa. I'm going Liverpool to beat Aston Villa, Southampton to beat West Brom, Bournemouth to beat Coventry. I'm going Atalanta to beat Fiorentina, Juventus to beat Genoa, and I think it's time Atletico Madrid got the act together. So I'm chancing them to win at Real Betis, Paul. 5,600 to 200, 28 to 1.
There we go. Thanks very much, Budge. And just to remind you guys out there that last one standing, get your bets in for this weekend. It's a Friday night.
Friday night, Paul, 8 o'clock.
Friday night. You know what's interesting? In that one, that there's only 17 left. There's Shogun Phillips and Sean Singleton. Both of them have won the Gold Cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting stats.
Well, this is a Gold Cup. This is like the Comrades, the way it's going.
Yeah, so all the best to them. And until next time, stay on side.